Hey, Brianna.
Good afternoon, Ruth.
Hello. I was just about to message you. How you doing today? Can you hear me? Well, she can't.
Oh, there we go. Sorry, I had my
Oh,
computer.
okay.
The good part about logging on early, make sure all this stuff works.
I know, right? Can you add me as a co-host so I can share?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Make you a co-host.
Okay. All this other stuff.
Joy is still in a meeting. It's not scheduled to end till about 12:30.
Okay.
So she should be back by 1 o'clock, but I wanted to go ahead and log on so everybody can get settled in, and
Okay.
she's doing interviews today.
Oh, I do not miss those days.
I kind of do. I've been a recruiter for 12 years before coming to tech, so it's
Uh-huh.
definitely different.
Yeah. Don't miss it. I don't have any I used to have about 25 direct reports. I don't have any anymore. About 5 years. So yeah.
Makes it nice.
Yeah. And it's just my little self now with some of these. I'm keeping a running spreadsheet because I know some of these we meant to update after the first cohort, and I probably wrote it down on a sheet of paper somewhere, and then of course didn't go back and do it.
Okay.
So I'm keeping up with all of these. I think like I was gonna get rid of this slide. I think that's a little too much information.
Yeah, maybe for someone just starting out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was just a little bit. Mm. Look at this one too. I don't want to scare them off.
Hang on 1 second for me, Ruth.
Okay.
Sorry, had to tie up some loose ends while I sit through this class.
Oh.
Oh, is that your screen?
Yeah, it should be my PowerPoint.
I
Is
just
it
looked down
sharing?
and I just looked down and I was like, oh, I actually have a Teams message.
Oh.
That's yours.
Yeah.
We don't use Teams very much here.
Mhm. And see, we don't use Zoom, so that's why I'm really not strong, and it's taking me a while because we do everything in Teams.
In Teams, yeah.
Mhm.
I'm very familiar with Teams from my previous job, and they introduced everyone to Teams, but they told us to download it. It just hasn't taken off here yet.
We didn't really start using it until COVID. Then when COVID came, we kind of had to learn how to use it on the fly because
Yeah,
people were
everybody
working from
did.
home. Mhm.
Hey,
I
Brianna.
like
Hey,
it though.
Ruth.
Hey, Miss Joy, how are you?
I'm running from one thing to another, but it looks like y'all have things under control.
Mhm.
We do. Go enjoy your lunch.
Oh, thank you. I'm just going to put myself on mute here. I'll be here if you need me.
Okay. I told Brianna Joy I'm keeping a running list of my updates that I need to do before the next class so I don't forget this time.
Great.
Because last time I forgot. So we
Were
can
those
get
polls okay that I sent last night?
Yes, I didn't change anything in that presentation. So I looked at the slide numbers and they were all still right.
And
I didn't
Brianna, you
change
have
anything in
access
this
to
one.
them, right?
I do believe so.
Great. I think I checked the box to giving you access to launch polls.
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to put myself on mute so y'all don't have to listen to me chew.
Okay. Oh. Yeah. Excuse me. The world? Oh, what did I do? Hey, Brianna, I'm gonna step away for 1 second, but I'll be right back. Can she hear me?
Hey guys, am I in the right place?
Yes.
All right, good.
Yes, ma'am.
Hey, my grandbaby was born yesterday. Woo!
Congratulations. Yeah, boy or girl?
A boy. It's
Mhm.
it's my first, and my daughter-in-law actually hit the bullseye and had the baby on my son's birthday.
Oh, that's nice. Double celebration.
Yeah, I'm excited. Okay, I'm gonna go back and mute and wait for y'all to get back on, okay?
Okay.
Sure.
I'll probably give another 2 or 3 minutes, Brianna, then we'll get started, I guess. Is Joy
Okay.
on? Oh, no.
She-
Oh, okay, I
she's
see
still
her.
here.
Just let me know whenever you guys are. I guess Joy normally does the intro for me.
I would say you could go ahead and start, and if anyone is late, they can just join on in with us.
All right, Joy, did you want to do the normal intro or just, is she on? She may have stepped away. Okay. So my name is Ruth Suber, and I will be presenting today module B, part 1, that's going to be dealing particularly with quality. Before we get started, just want to remind the group, we will have a drive-through job fair at Bao Shalom on Saturday, April the 29th from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. If you guys are available, please come out. Bring a updated resume with you when you come. And when they ask you how you knew about the job fair, please be sure to put that you're in the Greenville Tech pharmaceutical manufacturing operator class. And I also posted a link in the chat as well to the PDF for the job fair.
Michelle, are you able to hear Ruth well?
I can hear it perfectly. Thanks.
Okay.
So can my dog. So I'm gonna mute. All right.
All right. So those are just Michelle with us today. Yeah, okay. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and get us started. So today we're going to discuss a history of regulations, how we came about having our quality systems, briefly discuss the Code of Federal Regulations. We're gonna define quality, discuss the differences between quality control and quality assurance, and then finally we'll discuss change control. So why does quality matter? Why are we concerned with quality after we make a product? Other than putting it on a shelf, what impact does quality have? So looks like Michelle's gonna get a lot of questions today since it's just us, but Brianna, me and you can chime in as well. So when you purchase a product, what do you look for that helps you decide between product A and product B? What are some of the things that you two look for?
I look for ingredients. I think everyone has special needs as far as what their body can tolerate and what they can't tolerate. So I have to make sure to look at the ingredients and make sure there's certain parts of those ingredients that aren't included. I like to look and make sure that there's some regulation on the product, and just reputation. I do my research.
Okay. Yeah, I look at all those too. I'm kind of a creature of habit. If this is what I always buy, I normally keep buying the same thing. I'm like, it's not broke, it's working for me, so I'm not broke, don't fix it. Brianna, have anything to add? Like, what do you look for, or what helps you make purchases when there's two different brands, or sometimes there's 3 or 4 different brands? See here. Okay. So when customers are considering the product that they're gonna buy, a few of these we've already covered. We of course we're gonna worry about performance. Is it going to work like it says it's going to work? If I buy Benadryl that's supposed to stop my itchy eyes, do my eyes in fact stop itching, or are they still itching 2 or 3 hours later? We're going to look at cost, going to look at size, warranty, being able to return a product that's defective can affect if I buy product A or product B. If I can buy product A and I have a 30-day, no problem money back guarantee, I may try A out just because I know that if it doesn't work, I can take it back with no problem. Also appearance and the reputation of the manufacturer. And that's where having recalls can definitely hurt your reputation, even if the products are not related. Consumers or customers may relate them in their mind, and it can cause damage in your market share. So quality is also a customer determination. What I consider is a quality product may not be the same thing as what Michelle considers to be a quality product, because I have to decide how well does this particular product meet my needs. And then we're also going to evaluate quality through experience. This is why now a lot of times, when you go online, when you Google a restaurant, or if I'm looking at a product on Amazon, the first thing I do is look at the reviews. I want to see other customers' actual experience with that product. Did they get, how was the product delivered? Is it working? Was it broken when they got it? If I see a lot of bad reviews, I'm gonna say, you know what, this product looks good, but the quality is not there. I'm gonna go to another selection and not even waste my time. And then we're also gonna look at the requirements. Some requirements are gonna be stated for a customer, and then some are gonna be unstated. If I buy a laundry organizer per se, stated, I'm going to be able to put my laundry detergent in this organizer. Unstated, requirement would be that it's not going to fall apart when I put the detergent in the organizer. And then by the customer determining the level of quality a product has, it's entirely subjective. That you can have two customers go to the same restaurant, eat the same food. One customer gives it 5 stars and one customer gives it 1 star. Because it's based on the customer's personal feelings or their experience with that product. So corporate culture and how it kind of relates to quality. So any successful company is going to have a clear vision statement. This vision statement is used to create a shared value system for the employees and the customers. So everybody is on the same page. We want to develop our product to meet our vision statement, and then our customers expect us to live by or abide by our vision statement. And then companies also use what's called a mission statement, and that supports the vision. The mission statement is going to be a lot shorter, concise, and it's basically timeless. It's not something where they would change it every 6 months or every year. Any questions on any of that information before we move to some old terms and then some new terms that we're going to discuss? Okay.
I do not have any questions. I noticed Rodney now entered too, just so you know.
Okay, welcome, Rodney. All right, so some common terms related to quality and pharmaceutical manufacturing. CGMP stands for Current Good Manufacturing Practices. So this is a group of best behaviors that a company follows to make sure that we're making quality, consistent, and safe product. So where do we get the good manufacturing practices from? A lot of them are contained in the CFR, which I'll show you guys a picture on an upcoming slide. And that's the Code of Federal Regulations. It's actually a booklet, and it has different sections. And within those sections, we have subsections, and they outline what a company has to do. So for instance, there's a section on electronic records and signatures. So within that section, we would have a subsection that would state a company is required to control access to their quality systems, which means that I should know who is logged into my computer systems, which means that everybody would have to have a unique login. Because if we have a shared login, then all I know is somebody's in there, but I don't know, okay, Ruth was in my non-conformant system at 4 o'clock Tuesday, and she made these changes. So the CFR is very important, making sure that as the regulations are updated, we're responding in a timely manner. And then also, if we notice some areas where we can improve, that we're proactive in closing any gaps. The FDA is the Food and Drug Administration, which pretty sure everyone's heard of. And then we have the Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act, which we refer to as the FD&C Act, which enables the FDA to basically have the authority to come in and say, we're going to have to pause production, or we're going to shut you guys down. You're not abiding by good manufacturing practices, or you're making unsafe product, and we need to figure out what's going on before you guys can continue to sell product. And then SOP is abbreviation for Standard Operating Procedures. Different companies may refer to them by slightly different terms, but this is basically a written document where a company outlines how we are going to make our product, if we're making cough syrup, how am I going to mix these ingredients? I have to put 5 grams of sodium, and then I have to put 10 grams of, I'm completely making this up, red coloring and 100 grams of purified water. And I have to mix it for 30 minutes, and then it has to cool. It's going to basically give a step-by-step detailed procedure on how we make our product. And the FDA expects us to follow the procedures that we've outlined for ourselves. Excuse me. All right, so now we're going to move on to discussing the history of regulations. So here we have the Arabian elixir of life, a vitalizer of mind and body. And this is actually a product that was for sale once upon a time. Would you guys use this product? Why or why not? I wouldn't use it because I have no idea what it is. I don't know what's in it. What do you guys think?
For all
You-
those reasons, I wouldn't either. I mean, if that's all the information that was on a bottle, sounds great, but what is it? What is
Yeah.
it? What are the side effects? Is it positive for your body, or, just all kinds of questions. So yeah, I agree.
Yeah, we actually have no idea. And then let's look at these. Let me get your opinion on this one. So these are just a few other products that were out. We have Clark Stanley's snake oil liniment, Kickapoo's liver and kidney renovator. I don't think I want my liver or kidney renovated. We have Governor's blood root elixir, Brewer's lung restorer, and we have Babcock's rheumatic tincture, blood purifier, and cancer cure. Would you guys use any of these? I'm a definite no. The restorer is enough for me. I don't want my lungs restored. What do you guys think about any of those products?
I agree, Ruth.
Yeah. Rodney, would you would you use any of these products? Would you give them a try with just the information they gave you? If you're still with us. Is Rodney with
I
us?
think Neil's on too now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Welcome, Neil.
Hello. For me personally, I would definitely try one of them just for kicks and giggles, you know.
So you would try it and you don't even know what's in it?
I mean, just a little sip. I mean, just to see, you know.
Well,
We
you are
go
the risk taker of the group.
right. I mean, at least I'm thinking if it's made for that purpose, the person who made it is thinking has at least tried it or been able to have that kind of effect on basically using it. So basically, I feel like it still kind of can have that, you know, double effect and all that, you know.
Yeah.
I go down the path that these kind of remind me of if you're going to take, the vitamins and supplements that are over the counter, and you always have to, kind of read between the lines there and figure out who the manufacturer is, what the reputation is, where are these products coming from, what country are they coming from, what are their policies. It's always it's a crapshoot, you can't really quite figure out, but until I had all those answers, no, I wouldn't do it.
Yeah. So let's look at, so this is Coca-Cola's, one of their early claims where we have, Coca-Cola is a brain tonic. It's gonna cure headaches, neuralgia, hysteria, if you're sad, melancholy. Uh-oh, went too fast. If you're sad, it's gonna cure. Brianna, how do I get that to go down? It keeps popping up. Oh no. Brianna, are you on? How do I get this taskbar to go down?
Let me see.
'Cause I thought I just hover over it, right?
Yeah. chat and see if it'll go away. No.
I don't know why. You know what? I'm just gonna leave it be. I'm not gonna mess with it. I'm gonna leave it be.
In your chat box, Rodney said he does not have a mic working at this time, so he will chat in his answers and I can read them to you.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So yeah, so us knowing what we know about Coca-Cola now, do you guys think Coca-Cola cures any of these of their earlier claims that you can take it for a headache if you're hysterical? That Coca-Cola is gonna fix your brain ailments. I don't think it does. I mean, I drink them, but I don't think it fixes all of those. What do you guys think about Coca-Cola's original claims?
I think they said a lot of things that the product does. And I don't know, maybe at the time they thought it was subjective. They drank it themselves and thought, hey, it all does all this for me. It might do it for everybody else too. And they got away with it. So yeah, no.
Yeah, exactly. There was no confirmation of these claims before they put them out. So looking at all those products, what were some of the problems? We didn't know what the ingredients were. What were the test results? You know, if I was sad and I drank a Coke and it made me happy, was it the Coke that made me happy, or was it something else that happened at the same time? Maybe it was the food I ate that made me feel better. You know, we didn't have anything to test those results. What were the dangers of you taking the product? What should I be concerned about? Are they addictive? Is there anything in that product where my body is going to become, you know, adapted to it, and I'm gonna want more and more of this product, particularly if it's unsafe. And does the product really work? So the government had to figure out, okay, how are we going to answer these questions? So one of the first things they did was devise the Food and Drug Act in 1906. So that prohibited companies from selling misbranded or adulterated food and drugs in interstate commerce. So that was one of the first steps they did, where you can't sell this across state lines. And then that helped lay the foundation for the first consumer protection agency, which is the Food and Drug Administration. So the Food and Drug Act, that was the first in a series of consumer protection laws that were enacted by Congress. We created the FDA, and then we have a lot more oversight, making sure that food is safe. Oh, the Federal Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act in 1938. This is a powerful piece of legislation because it authorized factory inspections. It gave the FDA the right to come into your business and basically look and see what's going on. You know, hey, I want to come in, you're making peanut butter. I want to see how you're making the peanut butter. I want to see how you're storing the peanuts, how are you cleaning the peanuts, how are you opening the peanuts, how are you going from a hard peanut to the butter form, how are you canning them, how are you storing them? Do we have a rodent problem? Do we have bugs in the facility? All of that, you know, is there a risk of contamination? So, and then it also extended the oversight was later extended to include cosmetics and therapeutics as well. And before drugs are allowed to be marketed, they have to be proven to be safe. And there's numerous other oversights that have been added. There's a hyperlink in the presentation that'll take you straight to the FDA website where you, if you're interested, you can see more milestones in United States food and drug law. And then also, what we have now is this is our standardized drug labeling system that we use in the United States. Sometimes you'll see it split up where they may have the directions under the label or on a different side, but each label is going to tell you what type of product it is. It's going to tell you the therapeutic substance in a drug. So for me, let's say I'm looking at a brand name and I'm looking at a generic, I may look at the therapeutic substances in those two, because that's going to be what makes it work. And that's what most people look at when they're looking for their ingredients. We're going to have our warnings. It's going to tell us when should I not use this product, when should I stop taking it, when to see a doctor. It's going to tell me side effects, and then it's going to give me directions. It's going to tell me, you know, how much to take. How do I take it? Do I take it by mouth? Is it a shot? Do I put it under my tongue? Can I crush it? How long to take it? And then we're gonna have our inactive ingredients as well. Some things such as colors and flavorings that some consumers can have allergic reactions to. They also list those as well. Red coloring is a particular one where some consumers can't drink red drinks because of the coloring that's in it. And then there's also they include other information. If it's a drug where you can't let it get hot or you can't let it get too cold, it'll include that as well, as some of the ingredients in the drug can be affected by temperature, either too hot, too cold, and then that's gonna start to affect how good the drug is working. If I'm starting to go outside of that information that was provided. Okay. And also for this section, we do not have any videos embedded. So unfortunately, this is kind of at least getting a quality initial is just a lot of information. We don't have any videos, so let you guys know that. Any questions on any of that before we move to discussing good manufacturing practices? Everybody good?
I'm good.
All right. So CGMPs stands for Current Good Manufacturing Practices, and it provides for systems that make sure we have proper design, monitoring, and control for manufacturing processes or facilities as defined by the FDA. So why do we have GMP? Are there any benefits? Definitely benefits. It ensures our product is safe, effective, and high quality. So if we're making cough syrup, if I'm following my good manufacturing practices, the product I make today, April the 19th, should be the same effectiveness, the same composition as product I make December 31st of last year. Because we have our standard operating procedures, it's going to tell us how do we make our cough syrup. And if I'm following this to the letter every time, I'm going to end up with the same product at the end. Now, of course, you may have issues that happen in that process, and a company will manage that internally to say, hey, something happened out of normal activities, and then we will have to address that deviation. Let's see if there's an impact to the product that we were making. And then by having that defined process, it eliminates guesswork. So I don't have to try to remember, well, I don't remember how am I supposed to make the red cough syrup, or how am I supposed to make the bubblegum cough syrup? Do I put more water? Do I put less water? I don't have to guess. Eliminates and decreases the instances of human error mistakes, and then it makes it a lot easier to perform your job. Me personally, I like to have clear goals. I like to have clear expectations on, this is what I'm supposed to do. And that by having those procedures in place, it gives you your daily expectations, your daily task, to make it that much easier for you to do your job. So this is an actual picture of an abbreviated version of the CFR. So this one only contains 3 parts. So we have part 11 that deals with electronic records and signatures. As we move forward with technology, being able to capture information electronically is important, but we have to be able to show that we have control of that process. And then part 210 and 211 deals with deals with any company or employee that's manufacturing, processing, packing, or holding drugs or pharmaceuticals. So this covers from our receiving department to our distribution or to our warehouse. It covers the whole process within. And then the final part is 820, which is our quality system regulations. So when you open up this book, I will have part 11, then in part 11, I would have those subsections. And then if I go to part 210 and 211, I will open up to that part in my manual. And there's a subsection that says everybody that's involved in the manufacturing of pharmaceuticals has to have training. So that's why we have to document our training. A lot of companies now have electronic systems that maintain and document their training. So when the FDA or auditor comes to pay us a visit, they're gonna ask for some training records. So Miss Brianna's gonna launch a poll for us. So we should follow good manufacturing practices. Is this true or false? And she's gonna launch the poll for you guys.
Okay, Rodney also said true, and we have both true from Michelle
right.
and me.
All right, so that was 100% correct. That was a great job, guys. That is absolutely true. We should always be making sure we're following our GMP. And a follow-up to that question, name one benefit of following good manufacturing practices. You can unmute and answer, or Rodney or anybody, you can also answer in the chat and Brianna will read it for you.
Michelle says ensures the product is being monitored for safety.
Yep, very good. That is correct. We want to make sure that we are keeping an eye on our product. And if it's unsafe, we want to be able to separate it, make sure it doesn't get out to the market. Anybody have anything to add to Michelle's answer?
Rodney also says to make sure clean and safe.
Yep. Those are both absolutely correct. We want to make sure our facility is clean. And that if we notice any deviations in the cleaning process, we're monitoring that, where hopefully we can be proactive and get the deviation corrected before it becomes a safety concern for our customers. So thank you both. All right, so we're going to officially define quality and then discuss how it impacts our patients or our customers. So quality has multiple definitions, but basically it means a fitness for use. So we can look at it as the ability of a company to process with high productivity and reliability. That's I'm making a safe product and it's effective. And I can make the same product multiple days, different times, different shifts, different operators, and I'm getting the same outcome. We want to have correct labeling and identity. If I have a product labeled saying that it's safe for you to place it directly in your eye, and let's say that it's not, you're supposed to clean only with this solution and then follow with saline, and I mislabel that, that is a quality concern and also a safety concern, because I could damage somebody's eyesight. Absence of damage during shipping and storage, ease of handling and display, and also a ease of installation or interchangeability can also be used to define quality. So each one of these elements is a fundamental building block out of which a company constructs their quality program. So how does poor
Ruth,
quality?
Can I ask a question about that? So if the product was deemed safe and effective for certain uses,
Mhm.
and a doctor prescribes it for off-label uses, and then as a doctor, a physician who's prescribing it, and I could use examples because I actually have one that there's an issue. Is the product responsible? I mean, obviously the FDA and, it's been approved for something specific. Who's responsible for that deleterious effect on the patient?
So if the manufacturer has made a product and we say, okay, this is the usage that this is safe for, and a doctor prescribes it out of the scope of that product, and you're using it out the scope, it wouldn't be the manufacturer's problem per se, but that would be something that that would be considered a adverse event that you would definitely want to report to that manufacturer, because that doctor may not be the only person that's doing it. They may think it's okay. You should definitely report it to the company anyway, because that's considered a like, if like we're trying, if let's say that I'm just out and about and somebody says, oh well, I was using Bausch and Lomb and I stopped using it and now my eyes getting blurry. I can't, it's like I'm losing my eyesight. Even though I don't have all the details of it, I would still have to report, okay, this is the information that I was given about one of our products. And then the legal team and they call them pharmacovigilance, they actually go through and investigate all the ins and outs and
then
follow up with them.
what if the manufacturer, and it's my sister-in-law works for a company, I'm not going to name the name of the company, but she's in charge of research and development. She does all this. So she kind of keeps an eye on me using this specific product for psoriasis on my face near my eye. And I'm fairly young, no genetics show that there would be any history, but I've now been diagnosed with cataracts. So it's showing the likelihood is due to the use of this product. So of course I'm letting my sister-in-law know that, and she's doing what she does at her end. But I'm trying to figure out, I mean, at what level is that approved? And I know we've talked about the stages of the Food and Drug Administration of how they release a product based on groups of 8, and then it expands and so on and so forth. So I guess my point is, I guess I should just make sure the company that is manufacturing the product is aware of what's going on with me and let them deal with it, as opposed to what the doctor had told me is safe and effective. So I hear what you're saying. You need to let the company know. I just have a unique situation. It's a family that I can tell. So
okay. I would definitely make sure that's reported, even if it was a usage that it was okay for you to use. If you have any type of adverse reaction to a product, but specifically if it's one that's not listed as a side effect, you should always let that company know. They should have some type of outlet online or a phone number where you can report events like that, and they have a whole department that's going to go through, okay, what did you use? Do you happen to still have the container? It should have some type of lot number or a traceability number, and then they'll go through that whole process with you, but definitely let them know.
thanks, Ruth.
You're welcome. Okay. So, how does poor quality, excuse me, guys. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Okay, so how does poor quality affect patients? So here we have 4 recalls, and there's hyperlinks inside the PowerPoint to each one of these where you can go in and it'll actually take you to the FDA information. Where we had Fagrion recalled a compounding product because it was contaminated with a pathogen that commonly affects patients with respiratory disease. Then we had Pfizer had to recall 4 lots of high blood pressure medication due to the presence of a compound that increases cancer risk if you're exposed above acceptable levels. Mylan Pharmaceuticals had to recall an insulin batch due to the potential of a missing label. So if we don't have labels, for instance, let's say that we had a lot where they determine, okay, in May, if you have lot 23, don't use this insulin because it's contaminated. If my insulin doesn't have a label on it, I wouldn't even know if I have a contaminated vial or not. So we want to make sure that we have our labels for traceability purposes. And then we also had best brand consumer products that recalled 2 lots of hand sanitizer over the presence of benzene and methanol in those products. So making products that are not quality definitely can affect patients. It can be, anything from inconvenience to, I have to throw this product away. I've spent my money on this product. I have to get a replacement, to actually harming a patient, potentially, causing them irreversible harm or even death. So having poor quality definitely can have a negative impact on our patients or consumers. So what do you guys think could be a consequence of poor quality medical devices or pharmaceuticals? So we were to make contaminated product. What do you guys think could be a consequence, or what could possibly happen to the from a company standpoint, or from the consumer's point of view?
Someone could get hurt. Someone could have chronic issues later in life. Someone could die. Someone could get very sick.
Yeah, all those are definitely consequences. I think most recently the one we discussed a few weeks back with Abbott and the baby formula kind of displayed a lot of the consequences that can be, far reaching, from death to now we have a shortage in the market as well once they stop production. So I think Michelle touched on most of these. Increased mortality, morbidity, losing confidence in health systems and health workers. This is definitely one. If I'm not receiving a quality product, or let's say that my insulin is being recalled, why do I want to take the insulin at all? If you're going to tell me, hey, my insulin is bad, I may not even want to go to the doctor anymore. I may say, you know what, I'll just manage, my insulin problem myself because you guys can't handle it. We can also have adverse effects from incorrect active ingredients. If I'm supposed to have one active ingredient in a product and I have another, then we can have drug interactions that should not be going on because the customer is not expecting to have this ingredient in their medication. And then you can have economic losses, your patients, families, producers as well. Next, we're going to move on to quality control and quality assurance in a manufacturing setting. So quality assurance is a function that sets up the systems and the methods for assuring the quality of the product. So their responsibilities in an organization, they're going to review production procedures. They're going to make sure all documents are accurate, they're complete, we have them secured so that we don't lose them, we know where they are, we can make them available when needed. They're going to review customer complaints. We actually have a complaint analyst that handles all of the complaints for products manufactured at our site. And then they're going to also decide whether we approve each batch of product for release to customers. So our quality control is also within the quality department, but they have a little more limited function. So they're responsible for testing or sampling in compliance with the specifications determined by the quality assurance group. So our quality assurance group is going to say, hey, we need to test for the presence of carbon every 30 minutes. And then our quality control group, they're going to actually go in and perform the testing for the carbon every 30 minutes. So our quality control group, they're going to monitor our equipment, facilities, environment, personnel, and the product. They're going to test our raw materials, do any in-process samples and final product testing according to the specifications set by quality assurance. And then they're going to compare quality testing data to establish standards. So let's say, for instance, we're making our cough syrup and I have a dent in my cap. A quality control inspector may have a sample on the line that says, hey, if the dent is bigger than this sample, it's no good. We cannot sell that product. Or if the dent is smaller than this sample, the product is good to use. So they can use those established standards as well. So Brianna's gonna launch a poll for you guys. True or false, quality control and quality assurance have the same function within a pharmaceutical manufacturer. What do you all think? Do they have the same function? Brianna, can you launch the poll for us? Oh, there it is. Oh, there you go. My mind just must have been slow.
I am trying.
No,
Hang
it
on one
came.
second.
Oh. I think it came and then it went away, then it came back. Maybe I just had a lag on my side. Because I think everybody put true, didn't they?
Correct.
False.
And it will not let me go to the next one.
Oh, it went back to the other poll.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay,
hang
we
on.
can just
There
close.
we go. I think
Okay.
we got this one.
I'm gonna say false, because
Okay.
just in the wording, because control is an action and assurance is the end of that action. So to me, I mean, yes, if you control something, that is the action of doing something, but then therefore it gives you an assurance. So I just think they're different.
Yeah.
But-
That is correct. They are different. They have a different function. We start with quality assurance. They're going to tell me what to test, when to test, how to test, and then our quality control, as Michelle alluded to, they're going to come in and they're going to do the action. They're going to do those testing. They're going to get the actual data that quality assurance is requesting. So that was absolutely correct. All right, so the link between quality assurance and quality control, our quality control is going to reactively detect recurring problems. So their goal is to find the defect. So if I'm a quality control inspector, I'm on the line, let's say I'm running a product and I have a dropper. I'm gonna actually go to the line and I'm gonna open the cap and I'm gonna look at that dropper. I'm gonna make sure it's operating properly. There's no blockages, there's no damage, there's no grease. And then my quality control is going to provide feedback to quality assurance if there is a problem in the process or the system. So if I keep seeing dirty plugs, dirty droppers, I'm going to say, hey, you know, line 4 has been getting a lot of dirty plugs lately. Has anybody looked in, you know, to try to find out what the issue is? And we commonly refer to that as the root cause. What is the initial start that's causing the problem, that the defect that I have in my hand? So once quality assurance says, okay, well, let's say the root cause is we have a broken guide rail. Quality assurance is going to proactively go in and say, you know what, let's go fix this guide rail because we want to prevent this from happening. So then QA will go in, their goal is to prevent the defects from happening. So just to kind of summarize the differences between the two, our quality control group, they're going to be evaluating our product. They're going to be actually out there on the line, handling the product, eyes on the material, doing their inspection. Our quality assurance group, they're going to evaluate the process. Do we have a issue in our machinery? Do we have an issue in our components that's causing this defect? Once that's identified, how do we fix it? How do we move forward? Our quality control, they're going to be reactive. What they are inspecting has already occurred. It's already happened. Where quality assurance, they want to be proactive. Once we found a defect, how do I proactively stop this from happening again? How do I, if it happens on Tuesday, what can I do on Tuesday to stop it from happening again on Wednesday for the same reason? Our quality control, they're a function of your production line. They're actually out there on the line while production is going on or after production has ceased. Where our quality insurance, that's going to be a more of a staff function. You're going to have quality engineers. You're going to have non-conformance investigators that all interact together to try to solve the whatever the root cause is. They're going to try to solve that problem. So it may take more than one department working together to figure that out. And then our quality control, they find defects, where our quality assurance group, their job is to prevent the defects from happening. So it's important that quality control, when they notice deviations, especially repeated deviations or repeated defects, that they are communicating with quality assurance. Like, hey, did you know about what happened on line B yesterday? You know, we had some leaking bottles, you know, anything, you know, making sure that we're keeping open communication between those two groups. So I'm gonna leave this slide up because it's kind of gonna be hard to remember once I flip it. So anybody want to name me one function of the quality assurance group? What is one function of quality assurance? Or one characteristic of quality assurance? You can unmute and answer, or you can answer in the chat.
Rodney's response was process.
Yep. So your quality assurance, they are going to be involved in monitoring processes versus our quality control group that's going to be inspecting the actual product. All right. Anybody want to name one function or characteristic of quality control?
Quality control is going to ensure that the process that's taking place during the manufacturing is is being handled in a way that's already been proven to provide the best assurance of a good quality product.
I think so.
I know, sorry.
I'm processing in my mind.
I
Yeah,
know.
so
Took a lot.
you're right. Quality control is going to follow the processes outlined by quality assurance. You
Yes.
said it right. Yeah, you're right. I just had to process it. Yeah, so they're gonna make sure that they're following those processes that quality assurance laid out. So if I'm supposed to do a check every hour on the hour, and quality assurance says, hey, you have to go out there and you have to check 50 bottles every hour. Quality control has to make sure that I'm doing my bottle check every hour. To make sure that we're following their guidelines. So we've answered both of these. So our last topic that we're going to discuss today is change control. So what is validation? So the FDA defines validation as documented evidence that a specific product can consistently produce at a predetermined specifications and quality attributes. So what does all of that mean? So validation is a process that we use. Let's say we're making, well, today we're gonna make watermelon cough syrup. And this is our first time making watermelon cough syrup. So through our validation process, I'm going to have testing lined up where I can prove that by using my standard operating procedure that tells me how to mix all my ingredients, that if I make a batch on Monday and I make a batch on Tuesday and I make a batch on Wednesday, that all of those batches are essentially the same ingredients, the same chemical composition. You will have some window where I can have plus or minus 2% or plus or minus a percent. And they have these fancy statistical programs that give them those numbers. That's not my forte. When I need that information, I have somebody pull it for me. But through validation, we'll do a whole report that says, hey, this is the testing that we've done. This is our results. And we have proven that we can make watermelon cough syrup consistently. I can make this batch over and over and over and over, and it's going to have the same consistency, which essentially should give me the same effectiveness across different batches made at different times. So where does change come in? So we validated that we can make our watermelon cough syrup. We know we can make it. But let's say I wanna change something. Let's say that I initially made this cough syrup on line A. Let's say line A is, we're having some maintenance issues and I can't run line A. So I need to be able to make the watermelon cough syrup on line B. But line B and line A are not the same. So that would be considered a change because I want to modify my equipment that I'm using. I may have to change materials. Let's say that my labeler is different on line B. So that's considered a change because we want to modify existing equipment, facilities, utilities, design, formulations, anything that's involved in that manufacturing of that product that is specifically a validated process, I have to consider that a change. So change control comes in where, according to the World Health Organization, a company has to have a formal system where we review changes that affect the validated state to make sure that our system maintains that validation. So if I want to go from making my watermelon cough syrup on line A, where it's already validated, we know it works, we know we can make batches for 6 months and they're all the same. But now I want to go to line B, and line B is not the same as line A. I have to be able to prove that I can make that watermelon cough syrup in line B to maintain that validation that I can make that cough syrup on that line. So some tasks of change control. So by using change control, it minimizes the risk that changes have on quality or process characteristics. So before we actually run the cough syrup on line B and we sell it at Target, if I don't run a validation and prove that it's the same, let's say that maybe the tank on line B is not as big as line A, so I can't mix my product as thoroughly. So that may affect my chemical composition, and then now my customer may not get the same effectiveness from their product. And then each change to previously approved requirements requires a review and authorization. So that means that you're going to have somebody in your business who's going to say, okay, you want to change this? You want to make the cough syrup on line B? I'm going to have to review this change. And then I'm going to have to authorize it. Okay, we can try it, but we're still going to have to do our validation, and then we will document all of that. And then by using formal change control, it guarantees that all changes are evaluated for their effect on product quality or validation. And then change control over time has been recognized as an essential element for pharmaceutical quality assurance systems. So we will have discussions where we're like, hey, we need to change this process. It can be, just keeping up with advances in technology. It can be equipment limitations. It can be new product introduction. And all those fall under our change control programs that you would see. So what must be followed to ensure processes return to a validated state? We have validation control, change control, technical report, or all of the above. Brianna's gonna launch a poll for me. What do you guys think? Which one of those, if we want to change something and we want to make sure that we return to a validated state, which one do we have to follow?
Okay, right now we have one of change control, one of all of the above.
Okay. All right. So the correct answer for this one is going to be change control. So we make sure we follow that to ensure we get back to a validated state. Yeah. So you can end that poll for me, Brianna. Thank you. All right. Some key terms related to kind of validation and change control. So a nonconformity occurs when we have a non-fulfillment of specified requirements. So this can be anything from failing to follow a process to a missing label. We consider those to be nonconformities, commonly referred to as NCs. And then a warning letter, that is an official message from the FDA to a manufacturer that we have violated some rule in a federally regulated activity. So how does that relate to change control? One of the top 10 FDA warning letter citations is for inadequate change control. So that means that the companies were cited because we changed from a validated state and we did not accurately document a return to that validated state. So as you're out with your companies, you may be involved in some of those tests when we're trying to run new product or making change to existing product. In the CFR, this was the blue and white book that we looked at earlier. Even though it does not directly reference change control, it does state that changes in production procedures and controls have to be reviewed and approved. So that's commonly what we refer to as change control.
Ruth, does the FDA require testing of expiration dates as opposed to, like, a company obviously would profit more if they put a shorter expiration date? And I know that's always everybody's concern. Oh, well, no, they're only saying it's good for 9 months because they want us to throw it away and start a new one. As opposed to, I mean, sometimes the truth of the matter is it either could be damaging to your health or just not have any active ingredient active at all. So does the FDA actually look at the expiration dates as far as whether or not those dates are accurate?
You mean whether they would look at supporting documentation for those expiration dates?
Yes.
I'm not sure. That's something I would have to go online and like really look at their product initial, because all that should be like included in their initial to market kind of campaign with the FDA, if that's something that they would have to include. Me personally, if it's expired, I don't use it. You know, I use a Sharpie and put what dates I open things in my refrigerator. Because if it says discard after 5 days, I'm gonna throw it away because I don't want to know what happens after 5 days. That's just me personally.
Yeah, no, I get it.
I got food poisoning a few years ago, and I've just been like that ever since. But I'm not sure. That's something I will look that up and hopefully have an answer for you. If they have to include any justification in their submissions.
Thank you. I'd be
Yeah.
curious. Thanks.
Yeah, let me write that down before I forget. FDA require. I would assume so, but I will not speak until I know for sure. With filing. Okay. That's a good question. All right. And then this next slide, I actually meant to remove this. If you would like more information on the actual elements of change control, feel free to review slide 43. Otherwise, we will not discuss this one because I was supposed to remove it from the presentation. And then this is going to be our final poll for today. So we have Sleep Tight is a pharmaceutical product used as a common prescribed sleep aid. We're currently validated to run 48 hours between cleanings. Due to short staffing, management would like to run 50 hours between cleanings for a few days. Would this change in validated state require change control? And Brianna has the poll open. Do we think yes, change control is required, or no, it's not required because they only want to do it for a few days? What do you guys think? Okay.
We have 2 at yes, change control is required.
Yeah, so that is correct, even though it would they just want to do a few days, even if they wanted to do it for 1 day. If we are validated to run 48 hours between cleanings and we want to do 48 hours in 1 minute, we would have to have change control to show that we can successfully clean the lines if we leave the product on the line for that long. So that was absolutely correct. So great job there. All right, so that's the end of our session today. Do you guys have any questions, comments, concerns? Okay.
I do not. Thank you, Ruth.
All right, you're welcome. So that is all I have for you guys for this week. If you are watching the virtual session, please be sure that you answer the poll questions and a form of discussion that Ms. Joy has for you. And I will see you guys next week. And don't forget about the job fair. If you guys will be coming, just be sure you bring an updated resume, and I'll remind you guys in the next session as well. We'll have one more before the actual job fair. All right, thank you all. Y'all have a good day.
You as well, thanks.
Thank you.